Hello and welcome to Market Psychology 101, where we look for value in the markets when there's fear and are cautious when there's greed. In today's video, I wanted to do something called an indicator special. I've had some ideas floating around in my head of different types of videos and content to do for y'all. And one I thought of doing every week or so would be something called an indicator special, where I take a look at charts with you all, mainly Bitcoin, about or with different indicators. And so, because I talk so much about fear and greed, I thought, well, there are a few fear and greed indicators out there, and I can take a look at some of those with you. Now, for the subscribers to this channel, as you all know, the indicators I like using are the moving averages, and this is the EMA 2050, 100, 200. I like using buy sell signals, also Fibonacci retracements, stochastic RSI, those sorts of indicators. You can see this is the Fib retracement tool right here. And so look at that, it's close to the 236. Anyways, we're not here to look at those for today. I talk about those indicators pretty often in many of my other videos. So for today's special indicators, let's take a look at fear and greed. We've seen this website. It's the Crypto Fear and Greed website. We're up in greed. Cool. Let's go over to the indicators on TradingView and see what we have as far as the different fear and greed indicators. You can see there's a crypto one, and I found a few other ones that I thought would be good to look at. So this one is fear/greed, Zode reversals by UAlgo, and this one, I believe it was better to look at it on the daily. Yep, only shows up on the daily. And what do you see here is that when you get these red boxes, red arrows, those are times there is a lot of greed in the markets and possible good times to take profits. And when we have fear in the markets, those green little boxes that pop up, those would be good areas to look at dollar cost averaging in. And let me just say this before I get into other fear and greed indicators. I don't think any indicator by itself is absolutely perfect. It'd be hard pressed to find one of those. So the way I like to look at charts, and nothing I say is financial advice, it's just entertainment. But when I'm looking at indicators, I'm trying to combine them together and see if they tell a story that fits between one another, because sometimes there are outliers, such as right here. This would be showing decent time to buy, but if you didn't sell here, obviously Bitcoin crypto went a lot lower. So no indicator by itself is perfect. I try to think of it as a scientist, in that if you are doing a scientific research paper and you have a hypothesis, you want to be able to replicate your data, your methods, and how you come to find your conclusions. And you want to find those conclusions in replicable ways and with different ways. And so if you are finding similar answers from different indicators, then that can help you reduce your risk and know, okay, maybe now is a good time to buy, or maybe now is a good time to take profits. So I just want that I wanted to put that out there for you guys. So don't trust any of these indicators just on their own. Let's take a look at fear and greed by altcoin rookie. And so this one, let's go over to the weekly. So there's some fewer, and you can see that recently, just this indicator sort of matched up with the other one on the daily. You can see these greed, high greed areas do have red boxes. So it's just saying be cautious, and that when there's fear in the market, tends to be better times to buy. Though you'll notice there have been times, again, no indicator is perfect, where there can be fear and we can still go lower. These fearful times were good times to buy. This greedy time probably would have been still great times to buy. So again, you're looking for replication, and if you were buying fear over at this level, but not buying the greed at a lot lower price, I would have an issue with that. So as far as the way I look at charts, if I like something enough to dollar cost average here at, let's say, 35,000, then I should love buying it at a discount at 23,000. But again, I'm combining indicators together. So 2 indicators in so far, fear and greed. You can see that price is a little extended. Let's just go to this fear and greed indicator, all caps, screaming in your face by Wheel Keefe. Great name. And so Wheel Keefe, very similar to the other ones. This one actually shows some buying areas down here at the bottom. Curious there was none down here with the Black Swan event. This is when FTX crashed. But you can see we recently had fear, good times to buy in this area. And that's when Bitcoin had that 30% correction. So if Bitcoin did have any bit of a correction, let's say to 80K or a little bit below that, I would not be surprised if there was some fear and some green bubbles on this indicator. But again, we've seen this happen in areas before where it wasn't the best area to buy. Imagine buying the fear indicator here just for it to fall off a cliff. So again, keep that in mind. We don't want to use indicators on their own. And then there's also this crypto fear and greed index by TIA Technologies. And this one I think looks pretty nice because it also shows where the extreme greed, this shows the scale of it and where we are right now. So it sort of shows it like an RSI as well. And you can see here that on this graph, it is up into that high greed, extreme greed territory. Let's go over to the daily. But it possibly could be getting ready to go down in neutral. Now you see there's these points here at the bottom. And I kind of like this one because we can draw trend lines. We can take a look and see what the general trend is. And so let's move out of here. So if we just draw a trend line from those lower points, that maybe even if Bitcoin fear and greed got down into neutral, that maybe it'll have some support here. That's something to possibly look for. Doesn't always have to honor these trend lines on fear and greed like we see on charts and other indicators, but it is something to possibly look for. Anyways, that's going to do it for today's video. I wanted to do a shorter one, and let me know in the comments below if there are any indicators you would like for me to talk about. The indicators I talk about on my channel, I try to use indicators that are simpler and easier to understand. In my opinion, not financial advice, but please don't trust what a crypto YouTuber like myself is saying unless you can replicate it yourself. If you can use the indicators I do and come to a similar answer, great, but you should be able to get to whatever answers you have on your own and not just trust what people are saying. So Elliott wave theory, for example, there's a lot of very intelligent people who talk about Elliott wave theory. I cannot replicate it all on my own. I don't understand all the idiosyncrasies and details about Elliott wave theory. I understand the capital letter parts of that language, but not the deeper details. So because I can't replicate it on my own when I'm sitting down in front of my computer on TradingView, I don't use those indicators. So my goal on this channel is to try to use indicators that are easier to understand, ones that you all can easily use as well. Comment below if there are any indicators that you like, and I can talk about those or feature those in future indicator special videos. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day.